Frozen, Across the Curriculum.
This unit was designed for a second grade class, and the topic was Disney's animated movie, Frozen. Since Frozen was so popular among children in this age group, it was no surprise when our class unanimously voted it as their favorite movie on a survey. Because of this, Frozen was a great topic to base a unit off of, since children can relate to it and be excited to learn through their favorite movie.
Our second grade class is getting ready to take a journey across a frozen wonderland. Students will have the chance to associate concepts from the English, math, social studies, science, and art content areas that they have to learn with the familiar, enjoyable topic of a well-known movie, Disney's Frozen. The unit is important and appropriate for the second grade level because not only does it hit these various standards in various subject areas, it does so with a topic the students will enjoy. In fact, before starting this unit plan, our second graders were polled about their favorite movie, and Frozen won unanimously. By fusing the knowledge from the standards that the students have to learn with a popular and loved movie, it ensures that this unit will be received favorably by the students who will be learning from it.
Neither of these children have been formally classified. However, since they are both having difficulties in the classroom, accommodations have been made. Both children are in the process of being referred and tested for a formal diagnosis. Noah is very distractible and often needs to be reminded of what he needs to do to keep on track. Ella has a mild hearing impairment and has trouble with writing in the sense that she sometimes mixes up her words by either using the incorrect word or mixing up letters within a word.
My English lesson was on story elements. The reading standards are to use information gained from the illustrations and words in a print or digital text to demonstrate understanding of its characters, setting, or plot. In my lesson, students will show their understanding of these story elements by creating a snowman containing the different story elements on different sections, such as on a hat or glove on a snowman. I incorporated Frozen in my lesson by having students relate back to the movie in order to answer different questions in regard to the story elements. Also, I will have students create their own Olaf that will display the different story elements of the movie. Students who need accommodations will be kept in the front of the room so they are able to see me. I will also be sure to redirect students' attention and ask students to state their answers verbally.
My math lesson was on measurements and data. The theme is Frozen. The standards for measurement and data for second grade states that students will learn how to determine whether to use inches or feet and which tool is most appropriate to use. Students will have to measure different objects and indicate why they chose to use inches over feet, for example. I incorporated Frozen by relating feet and inches to how snow is measured. During the lesson, students will even measure a pile of snow. For accommodations, I would make sure all students can see me, allow students to give verbal answers, use an FM system, use math apps on an iPad, and make sure students are on task at all times.
My social studies lesson was on cardinal directions. The social studies standards are to determine locations of places and interpret information available on maps and globes. In my lesson, students will show their understanding of cardinal directions by recording different places in the world in relation to a given location and using plot points on a map worksheet. Using a game of Simon Says, visuals such as signs with cardinal directions and index cards, children will be taught all of the cardinal directions. I'll have the students determine the cardinal directions of different places on a map. Students who require accommodations will be kept in front of the room, given written instruction to keep them on task, and be allowed to recite their assessment verbally.
My science lesson was on the 3 states of matter. The science standards require that the students identify common objects as solids, liquids, or gases. So in my lesson, students will show their understanding of the 3 states of matter by defining them and listing examples for each. Students get both a visual and kinesthetic example of each state of matter because the lesson is hands-on and deals with ice, water, and soda. Students who require accommodation will sit in front of the room, be checked on throughout the lesson to ensure they are keeping up with the content being covered, and allowed a verbal assessment if an attempt at a written assessment fails.
This lesson was on identifying and differentiating different shapes. The art standard requires students to identify basic elements of art. In this lesson, students will be asked what shapes they already know, they'll be given a definition and drawing of each shape, and be asked to identify each of these shapes on a poster and in video clips of Frozen. Students will also be asked to identify differences among certain shapes such as circles and ovals. Students who require accommodations will be sat at the front of the room, shown subtitles for the video clips, and be asked questions throughout the lesson to ensure they are paying attention.
Our creative post-assessment was a favorite among us, as well as the children. They got to display the knowledge they learned in this unit, not through a boring test, but through a picture drawn from their imagination, and a short story written from a picture they drew.
In conclusion, this unit encompasses the thrill and excitement of Frozen while also hitting the standards and objectives set for each content area. Multiple manipulatives, visuals, and auditory aids were used to reach the different types of learners and differentiate instruction for the entire class.